Welcome to W.E.Kiwi, where friends come in all sizes, shapes and species. And here's our new story. W.E.Kiwi gets found by a frozen flittle. W.E.Kiwi looked out of the window of his hotel room. Mountains rose up in the distance with snow covering their peaks. In his wing, he held a cup of hot chocolate. The steam from the cup started to fog up the window. This was W.E.'s very first time being deep in the south of the world, where temperatures fell below freezing every night. Wiping the condensation from the window, he noticed it had started to snow. A white layer began to rest on the small table of his balcony. As the snow settled, he could see it beginning to cover the town. How wonderful, he thought. There will be plenty of snow for my very first skiing lesson in the morning. Kiwi birds aren't known for skiing, so W.E. didn't have many references on how to do it. His instructor told him to just be ready at 8 o'clock and have a good night's rest. After finishing his hot chocolate, W.E. jumped into bed. He pulled his sheet and duvet tightly around himself, snuggling in for the night. W.E. was getting warm when he remembered he had blankets in the wardrobe. It could be a very cold night, so he had better be prepared. Scurrying to the wardrobe, he opened the doors, stretching up to take the two heavy woolen blankets down. They nearly smothered him as they fell down. Carrying the blankets over, he put them on his bed. Now he was ready to hibernate like a bear for the night. W.E. had left the curtains open, so took one last look at the clear night sky. Under the sheet, duvet, and blankets, W.E. wrapped his wings around his chest and fell asleep. The woolen blankets became heavier than W.E. expected as he tried to get comfortable. He wondered, as the temperatures dropped, do they become weighted down with moisture in the air? W.E.'s wings started to ache against his chest, squeezing with the pressure of his sleeping arrangement. It was getting so tight, W.E. couldn't move. Now he was trapped. Panicking, W.E.'s heart started to race and breathing became shorter. Both feet now couldn't move either. Joining into this chaos, his beak pressed against the mattress. Opening his eyes, all W.E. could see was white. "Help!" he cried out. "I think I'm trapped in snow." Paralysed, he couldn't look up nor down, to the left nor to the right. The chubby little bird was trapped, caked in snow. Wiggling his toes didn't appear to help, but he heard a strange sniffing sound, like someone trying to hold back a sneeze. He wiggled his toes again, and the sniffing came back, this time followed by a giggle. Then there was a giggle and a sneeze. W.E. started to relax slightly and wiggled his toes continuously. The sniffing didn't return, but there was another giggle. The giggling got louder and louder, and as it did, W.E. felt the snow move around his body. Bright light broke through around his head. A woolen mitten took one of his wings and lifted it up. W.E. wiggled his bum and was finally able to stand up. In front of him, he could see a mound of snow that had been created by the burrowing out from under him. Getting his bearings, W.E. was surrounded in fog, but could see the outline of the top of a mountainside. Besides the pile of snow, standing with a wide grin, was a very happy creature. The creature wiped sweat from his brow. It looked like a big yellow dog, with long ears and wearing a red scarf. On both of his paws were brown woolen mittens. Two round green eyes were on the side of his head, large enough to see all around him. His snout stretched out from the middle of his face with a huge black nose at the end. A streak of purple fur stood up from the top of his head. As W.E. held out his wing, the creature took off his mittens, placing them in a pouch in the middle of his belly. With another giggle, the creature shook W.E.'s wing.
Pleased to meet your acquaintance. My name is Thomas. I do hope you are not anxious about being in the snow, but avalanches can be very dangerous. Luckily, the Frozen Flittles roam through the slopes, keeping everyone out of danger.
W.E. shook Thomas' paw. Pleased to meet you. I'm W.E.Kiwi, but my friends just call me W.E. I was getting very nervous when I couldn't move, and I didn't know which way was up.
Well, W.E., you can always prove gravity by dribbling.
W.E. scratched his head and looked around. How so? I don't see any basketballs around here. Thomas was now confused himself.
Ooh, what is a basketball? Never heard of such wonderment.
Feeling the snow below his feet, W.E. replied, It's a game with a ball and hoops. It definitely wouldn't work in the snow, as you need a hard floor.
Ah, how fascinating. I meant by dribbling from your mouth. If you get caught and you're not knowing which way is up, then dribble from your mouth and the water will always go down.
W.E. thought about this for a moment. He wanted to try, but didn't want to be buried in snow again. Thomas sensed W.E. was thinking about this.
Don't worry, trust me on this. How about you come back and have a mug of muddle back in our headquarters? I'm on the day shift. The main Frozen Flittles team works at night.
W.E. held his head high. That would be fantastic, Thomas.
Now follow in my footsteps, and this will help you to navigate the snow. I shall activate my mapping tool to see how deep the snow gets. It's very technologically advanced apparatus.
From his pouch, Thomas pulled a short stick out. He tugged on it twice, and it sprung open to double the size of him. Prodding the snow as they went forward, Thomas led the way.
Oh, see, W.E., sometimes the simplest of tools can be the most effective.
They walked up the mountainside, which was good exercise and had blood flowing through W.E.'s legs. Thick fog still covered the ground below them, and a blue sky appeared above. Thomas stopped and sniffed the air.
The moisture from the valley is rising, W.E. The fog will clear entirely, and soon we shall see the suns come out.
Sun, Thomas? How many do you have? W.E. asked.
2, of course. One rises from the east and one from the west, and they meet high in the sky for a glorious day.
With his head held high, looking at the sky, W.E. couldn't wait to see the phenomenon. Fog was rising rapidly, and the valley below became clearer. Trees of blue and green dotted a river running across the valley floor. W.E. could see creatures that appeared to be sheep grazing on yellow grass. Peering closer at the sheep, W.E. noticed that they walked on 2 legs and had tight white wool and long bushy tails. All had black horns and black noses. Thomas noticed W.E. looking down to the valley.
Ah, W.E., the valley below has sprung into life. The blurter always like to dry their wool quickly when the sun appears through the fog.
Where I come from, we call them sheep, Thomas. How do they dry their wool?
The blurter take off their wool, of course, and shake it in direction of one of the suns.
Looking down to the valley, W.E. saw the blurter take off their wool like a coat and turn it in the direction of one of the suns. This was hilarious, as now the blurter walked around with their pink skin showing. Well, I never, Thomas. What amazing creatures!
Come on, we're nearly there,
Thomas called as he charged ahead. As they went up the mountain, W.E. could now distinctly see 2 suns beaming either side of him. Their rays warmed his head and his beak. As they came out upon a ridge, Thomas stopped, breathing in, and yelled,
Hurrah! Hurrah! Hurrah!
A bell chimed 3 times. Down the ridge was a glass dome with the bell hanging outside. Another Frozen Flittle was ringing it. Thomas waved.
Come on, Anna will put the kettle on for a cup of muddle now.
Down the ridge W.E. and Thomas went, pushing snow out from in front of them. At the door of the glass dome stood a Frozen Flittle with a brown scarf on and a notepad around her neck. Thomas and the new Frozen Flittle hugged.
W.E., this is Chief Commander Anna. She is currently on watch for the avalanches.
Anna wrapped her paw around W.E., giving him a big hug. She took a notepad and wrote something down. She showed this to W.E. W.E. read it. Pleased to meet you. Terribly sorry, I lost my voice last week, so I have to write notes down to everyone. W.E. smiled. Well, I hope you get better, and your voice does too. Anna patted W.E. on the head, then took him by the wing inside. The glass dome was warm and smelt of cinnamon and vanilla. Clumps of cushions littered the floor, and circling the outside walls were chests of drawers. In the middle was a large pot-belly stove. A kettle steamed on top of it. Thomas cheered as he ran to the stove.
Ah, the muddle is ready!
Carefully, he took the kettle off and placed it on a small table. Anna directed W.E. to a pile of cushions where they sat down. Scribbling on her notepad, W.E. waited to see what might happen next. Anna handed W.E. a new note. Once again, W.E. read it out aloud. Thank you so much for coming to visit. It can get lonely up here at times, but the Frozen Flittle have very important work to do here. Coming over with mugs, Thomas took off his red scarf, replacing it with a brown one.
Ah, ready for some muddle?
Yes, I am, Thomas. But why did you change scarves?
Good observation, W.E. When we are in the snow, we wear red for search and rescue. In the dome, we wear brown to show we are off duty. Now relax. Here's your first try at muddle.
Steam rose from the mug and it wafted around W.E.'s beak. He could smell strawberries, chocolate and caramel. With a gentle sip, W.E. tasted the muddle. It was delicious and soothing. Anna stared at W.E., raising one paw up and one paw down. Oh, definitely up, Anna. This is delightful. Thomas put his paw on W.E.'s shoulder.
It takes us over a month to collect enough muddle leaves to make one kettle, so we cherish it.
I feel very honoured, Thomas and Anna. So what do the Frozen Flittles do here in the mountains? Thomas jumped to his feet and ran to the side of the dome. Thomas mumbled, then opened one drawer, pulling out a map. He opened it and showed it to W.E.
Every day, we must remember the Frozen Flittle mantra as we go across the mountains with our maps. Here is where few will dare to go and show those in snow. The safe place the Flittles trace to stay out of danger, even if you're a stranger, but in the end, we all become a friend. We go out and keep the mountains safe from the dangers of snow. If there is too much snow, then an avalanche might happen, rolling dangerously down to wipe out all in its path. The Frozen Flittle finds these little build-ups and pushes them into the night when everyone's in bed. You must have gotten out of bed and got caught up in one, W.E. Luckily, our noses are strong enough to smell distress.
Thank you, Thomas, once again for saving me. But is it just the two of you?
No, the Frozen Flittle are many. When the sun goes down, the Frozen Flittles wake up. It is dangerous to be on the slopes at night, W.E.
W.E. sipped from his mug. Anna got up and stretched. She beckoned for W.E. to come to the edge of the dome. Placing his mug on a table, W.E. followed Anna. She took one of W.E.'s wings and placed it on the glass of the dome. The glass started to rotate back and forth.
Look closely, W.E. It magnifies the mountains. We can scope out during the day shift where there might be trouble.
So where are the other Frozen Flittles?
Fast asleep under the dome. Be very quiet. I will show you.
Thomas walked to the other side of the dome and W.E. followed. Placing his hand on the floor, Thomas pushed down and pulled a lever that rose up. A round hatch opened. Thomas pointed to the darkness. W.E. put his head down the hatch and could see rows of bunk beds full of Frozen Flittles fast asleep. All had triangle pillows that kept their body upright, with fluffy blankets over their legs. W.E. lifted up his head and Thomas closed the hatch as gently as he could.
Phew, glad we didn't wake them up. Otherwise they could spring into action thinking there was a rescue needed. Now let's sit back on the comfy cushions and wait for the suns to cross.
W.E. had no idea what might happen when the suns crossed overhead, so waited eagerly. Thomas, so how long do the suns stay in one place? W.E. asked.
Only a short time, my friend, but it is a wonder to see. They shine bright, forming a halo, and the snow glistens like diamonds.
W watched as the two suns met in the middle of the sky. A silver glow formed around them. W.E. gazed as the snow lit up sparkling. This lasted only a few moments before the suns parted and went on their separate ways across the sky. As there weren't any clouds, the view was perfect. Thomas went to the potbelly stove and put 2 pieces of wood inside.
Now that should keep us warm for the afternoon,
Thomas said as he sat next to W.E. Sus Anna wrote a note to W.E. and he mumbled as he read it. Oh, yes, thanks, Sus Anna. I feel right at home. This is a splendid house. I might have to make a dome for myself, perhaps in the garden, and grow some tomatoes and peas. As W.E. got comfortable, he wriggled his bum in the cushions. He checked the mug next to him. It had a little sip of muddle left, so he drank the last of it. It soothed his belly and relaxed him. Overhead, a red-crowned bird flew and winked. W.E. winked back, which made him slightly dizzy for some reason. His head swirled around and he felt a heavy weight on his shoulders. The cushion was now sinking below him. The sides rose up and pressed against his beak. He was being swallowed up like the avalanche once again. Both his legs pressed against each other. One wing was stuck, but the other W.E. wrestled free. He lifted up the cushion, twisting as he went. Yellow light came from under the cushion, nearly blinding him. Shading his eyes with his wings, he saw where he was. During the night, he had fallen out of bed and was on the floor wrapped up in his bedding like a cocoon. With some twisting and turning, he was able to release himself from the grip of the blankets. The morning sun crept over the mountains, lighting the whole room. W.E.'s alarm clock ticked away and was just about to ring when he turned it off. What a strange adventure up the mountains he had in his dreams. That day, W.E. learned how to ski. It started off terribly, with him falling the whole morning. But by the afternoon, he was able to stand up and turn in both directions. He was only able to go on the learner slope and appeared to be the oldest person there, but he didn't mind. Many of the children would call out words of encouragement, which kept him going. As W.E. lay in a warm bath at night, soothing his aching feet and wings, he felt safe. Perhaps the Frozen Flittles were out and about, protecting everyone from the avalanches. The end. Thanks for listening to W.E.Kiwi, and stay tuned for more stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you real soon. So, Quark, have you ever been in the snow?
Don, I've never been in snow. I think it would be very, very cold, especially on my footsies.
Well, that's what snow is, Quark. It's frozen water.
Oh, maybe one day I go to the snow.
Yes, it has to be cold. Otherwise it would be water. And if it got really hot, it would be...
Steam? Or fog? Steam.
Yes. You clear up here. We've got an early start in the morning. Okay?
Okay, John. I'm going to get prepared here for our next story.
Thanks, Quark. See you tomorrow.
Right. Now, maybe I record my new song while he's not here. Let me play a little bit of it. Oh, that sounds a bit angry. Maybe I have a happy tune. Maybe I use this music. Oh, that's better. The song usually has words. How about I write something about rainbows? No, about puppies. Everybody loves puppies. Or kittens. Maybe kittens. Or maybe piglets. Or baby chickens. Chicks. That could be an idea. How about I just... I'm getting confused. I better shut down. Righty-ho then. Shutting down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.